What's going on, all the great people in all the lands? Your host, Nicholas Wilcox, your partner in crime, fam, big cuz, Johnny, man, we in the building, yo. What up? What up?
What up?
Yep, mic check 1 2 1 2. Your boys are back in the building. My microphone is acting all up right now. Can you hear me, John? We're good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just got we got everybody back over in the mock, man. Looks like a couple people are ready to go, man.
Itching to start.
Yeah.
So hold on for a moment.
Right,
the Fantasy Football Show. We got the Scott Fishbowl mock draft 3.0. We'll have some NFL news in between, along with me and John's. We'll have this continual segment throughout this fantasy season. They'll have different meanings throughout the year, but we'll have our targets plus our buy sells. And this is as of tonight's show. So that's 6/16 for documented purposes.
Yeah.
That being said, though, yeah, we'll have the mock draft up in a few minutes. John, if you want to let everybody know that we'll be on in like another 5 or so minutes, because I want to make sure we get to talking about our segment, and then we can start showing the people what the mock looks like for the sleeper. If anybody ever wants to join our mocks in general, feel free to come at us so you can get an exclusive spot, especially if it's your first time mocking with us. You'll have an exclusivity spot or two, whatever, for our loyal people that follow the show us every week. So, but we look forward to showcasing the mock draft. First things first, though, we're going to break down. There's some NFL news to get to. Not as much NFL news, so it'll be kind of quick blurbs. But in terms of I guess I would say this. What are your thoughts overall about, we talked about the Houston situation last week. What are your thoughts, though, about the Rams situation in general coming into the season?
The Rams?
The Rams.
What, just their running back situation?
I would just say as a team in general, from a fantasy perspective. Like, how do we value, I guess, Devontae Adams right now, right? Devontae Adams probably average right now, probably going late 3rd round, early 4th round. Kyron probably close to the same boat. And then as a team in general, offensively, where do you see fit when it comes to Rams?
Yeah, Devontae's going at right around 4. This is according to Fantasy Pros. He's going right around 401, actually. Early is 211, late is 503. I don't mind it, man. I think, it is what it is with Tay. He's a wide receiver, too. I think, obviously, you look at the situation that they have there. You see what Cooper Kupp was able to do before the end of the year. I think this offense is built to be able to support 2 pass catchers. I think it's obviously one of the better offenses in the league, one of the more innovative offenses. So as far as like Devontae Adams and how I view him last year, even, on a bad football team with the Raiders, I still viewed him as an elite talent. I still think he's an elite talent. I think obviously he's a little bit older, but he's a Hall of Fame guy in an offense. I think there was a clip where McVay was just kind of just boosting his morale, like right there with, with everybody in the room, just letting him know what type of player they were getting. So, I don't have a problem with Devontae Adams. I don't have a problem with Kyron Williams either. He was, again, one of the guys that was on the field more than anyone last year for the Rams. You know what it is. You know what's going to happen with them. I think last year, people got a little bit carried away with Blake Corum. And if Blake Corum was really, if he was what he was supposed to be, obviously Kyron Williams wouldn't have been one of the league leaders, if not the league leaders for snap percentages on the field last year, as far as running back goes. But yeah, past that, man, I don't like, and then Matt Stafford, obviously at the quarterback spot, he's probably going to end up being a value. He's one of the later quarterbacks being taken in, every best ball draft I've done. I think even from an ADP side of things, he's going back there with the Bryce Youngs of the world, the Sam Darnolds, the Geno Smiths of the world. So it's kind of weird to say that, you have 2 wide receivers who are going in the top 4, a running back that's going in the top 3. and all of a sudden the quarterback who's one of the 5 or 6 last quarterbacks to be drafted in best ball. I think he'll probably move up a little bit, once August hits, but he doesn't give you anything in the running game or anything like that. So pretty easy to see.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I brought that up because Alaric Jackson, they're one of their best offensive tackles, deal with some blood clots. So they signed DJ Humphries, formerly of the Arizona Cardinals, to a 1-year deal. Humphries 31. It's kind of like sort of patchwork right now for the offensive line. Combined with the Rams defense, like probably going to be projected as being not, if anything, caliber of elite. I do say that the Rams can, from a fantasy football perspective, we overall can have a situation where we're targeting, a few amount of Rams because they are going to be in situations where they have to offensively, keep up with their teams. And yep, we're getting that up there, right, Derek? So I know people are itching.
We just lost somebody. We just lost somebody in the 5 hole. So somebody looks like somebody had to go put their kids to bed or something. It looks like they said.
I must have missed that one. But who wants to jump in the 5 spot right now? Because I didn't know it was that. I don't know. Stuff like this happens. Literally, I said 8:30 for people, but I guess people can get on at a certain time. But if anybody wants to join us live, feel free to do so. 5 spot is available for a Scott Fish mock draft. I guess we'll just have to wait it out now because I'm not going to start it now. We're missing one person left. But in terms of just the Rams in general, like I do think they're a team to watch for your fantasy football lineups because Tay, Kyron, I'm saying, like there'll be other guys that even Higbee who came around like late last year. Like there'll be some value guys here. Obviously, Puka Nacua, can't forget about him. Like talk about guys that we can get like we don't have to spend like a high pick on per se. For value purposes, we love the value, baby. But I'll say this: what we'll do is, if the 5 spot's not on in the next 5 or so minutes, then we'll just go on. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see everybody that's active in here too, because we got that too. So go ahead. We're good. Okay.
Moving on, because we promised the people we're going to give some players that we like to target as of now. Players that myself and John are, again, the segment between target and buy sells and stuff like that, like are going to, to give you guys some context. That's going to change obviously throughout the year. In terms of us giving you guys the best content for, what we're seeing from our lenses and overall giving you guys, some nice sneak peeks as to what we're liking overall. So, John, I'm going to start out with you. We're going to go over our targets first. So, without further ado, John, are you ready?
Oh, yeah. My guy should come as no surprise.
No surprise.
No.
Been a fan of the show.
No surprise at all. Calvin Ridley, for me. Obviously, man, getting an upgrade at the quarterback position, right? That's like one of the biggest call outs for me. Is that right there? Last year had almost a 24% target share. So I feel like that number will go up. Obviously with better quarterback play. And then you also have Brian Callahan as well. The head coach now, the new head coach for the Tennessee Titans, who's used to dealing with one Joe Burrow. So is very familiar with airing it out, as he was a former offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I do expect to see this number go up for the Titans. Last year they were 23rd last year in pass attempts. So I feel like that number can only go up, especially whenever you draft a quarterback, number 1 overall. And then also too, not a lot of targets there in Tennessee. Like you look around, maybe Chika Congo, maybe that might be the guy who ends up being the number 2. They signed Tyler Lockett, I know, from Seattle, but it seems like Tennessee is a place where older receivers go to die, pretty much, from a fantasy side of things. So not too concerned about like his competition or anything like that right there. But I think Calvin Ridley's in a really good situation. Like I said, still was able to go for over 1,000 yards last year. Even with, Mason Rudolph and Will Levis playing quarterback. I kind of mentioned this last week. We were kind of going through our Scott Fishbowl draft, talking about Calvin Ridley and how he was one of the targets for me. And we're back talking about him again. And like, he was a guy that I was in on last year, maybe just a year or two early. So I'm going to go back to the well with Calvin Ridley, especially like when you look at his ADP right now. And right now, man, his ADP, what did I just see? He was like 76. I just had it up here, man. It just went away. But he's like
Ridley?
right around like, yeah, he's like, well, not 76. Geez. He's right around the here we go. He's right around the George Pickens, Jalen Waddle. He's right around those areas as far as wide receivers being selected. So I'm okay with the value of getting a number one wide receiver that late in a draft. If that's the case, then definitely sign me up for that every day of the week and twice on Sunday, as far as getting a wide receiver one that late in any draft. I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, for teams that I will be like looking for, like startable receivers, like really someone that I want to target in that range, depending on what format you're drafting in for either best ball or for your overall like home leagues. Like Ridley could easily be a phenomenal flex option, no matter pretty much the roster build. I think when you talk about, you get to upgrade at QB, I'm saying, Ridley had, I looked at a stat earlier, Ridley had the most unrealized air yards last year as a receiver. So there's plenty of improvements from where he is right now to where it's like, I think we could get back to a spot where we find Ridley somewhere in the middle of like, all right, he may not be like peak Atlanta, but he definitely won't be like Jacksonville-ish, and then he could somewhat be better than last year with Tennessee. So,
wide receiver 69 is what it was.
He finished last year?
Well, 69, the 69th player overall, wide receiver 28 is where he's being drafted right now.
I mean,
So that's definitely a value.
Over that. Yeah. That's definitely someone I'd like to target, because I think he could easily finish as a wide receiver 20 overall and easily be up to value, and he could potentially finish, higher, potentially wide receiver 13, 14 even. Because again, like Tennessee is going to be, again, new quarterback, different situation now. I do think he'll be force-fed more targets, and he'll realize more of those air yards, I think, over the stretch. So that makes sense. My guy, Chase Brown. Chase Brown was one of those guys that, I got some of more in best ball than I did in my home leagues. So I was happy from that perspective, because I knew like we were getting Chase Brown like late 8th round, early 9th round. I was very happy about that. And then we finally got a chance to see him enter the starting lineup after Zach Moss and all that crap that happened. Now we look back, oh yeah, Chase Brown was the guy all along. Of course he was. Like, come on, you gonna be relying on the dust ball named Zach Moss? Like, come on, people. This is where we take advantage of the market, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's how that goes. But in terms of Chase Brown and how brilliant he was, from weeks 9 to 17, Chase Brown was the RB4 in fantasy points per game. So he definitely helped you out. Per season, depending on your rankings, he finished anywhere from RB10 to RB12. But obviously, weeks 9 through 17 matters the most. So if you had him on your rosters last year, phenomenal. I think where he's going right now in drafts, like middle of the 3rd round, end of the 3rd round, I think that's fair, but I do think he should be drafted a little higher. He should be at that 2-3 turn selection potential. But hey, if you want to give me Chase Brown, my second RB or my RB1, I'm okay with that. When it comes to Chase Brown, I think the offense we talk about is very good, clearly. And, again, like he just morphed into the guy that we thought he was going to be when it came down to it. Efficiency, I know people are going to get at. It's like he wasn't as efficient, so to speak, whatever. But when you're a high-volume offense, it doesn't really matter about efficiency as much. It's more about just you can put up production. And that's what Chase Brown was doing. So, yeah, I mean, people could talk about ding him a little bit for where he's going in the draft right now, because people might be chasing last year. But when all things considered, we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals offense that should be projected to still be a great offense in the league. Joe Burrow was, obviously he may not be like Joe Burrow of last year, where it was like literally, I think he had eight or nine straight games, at least 3 touchdowns or more. I think that was the record overall when it came to QBs. So yeah, I mean, look. That being said, before we get to the buys, I'm gonna put up the sleeper board to see if that 5 spot was open. Where are we at? And then while I'm doing that, John, you want to talk about your buy this week?
Yeah.
Who we buying? Who we going shopping for?
My guy, man, I'm going back to the well again from last year, Isaiah Pacheco. He was a guy. He's another guy I was in on last year. And I think injuries are something that like you can't predict injuries. And if you say you can, then that you're Nostradamus, and that's pretty sick. But yeah, and like for me, I'm just looking at this, right? And I'm looking at the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm just looking at like historically what Andy Reid has been when he's had running backs, when he's had capable running backs. Last year was the second worst offensive production in rushing yards for his stint in Kansas City as a head coach. So I think that's another number I feel like definitely is going to go up for sure. They were ranked 22nd last year in rushing yards. Obviously, they had some opportunities, which they got exposed for in the Super Bowl. But then too, man, when you look at Kansas City just from run blocking side of things, man, according to Pro Football Focus, they rated 71.9 as a run blocking unit, which put them in the top 8 in the NFL. So I still think that there's definitely an opportunity for them to get better. And Isaiah Pacheco coming off a broken leg. If he's healthy, man, I think, especially for where he's going at too, man, like that's a really good value. That was kind of like my running thing for the night. I really wanted to focus in on players that, you had to make a decision on at some point in time, and that everybody has the opportunity to draft. And right now he's being drafted average, right? Running back 29. So right now he's a running back 3. And I think for somebody in a Kansas City Chiefs offense that we all know and we all feel like he could fall backwards into, 8-9 touchdowns, depending on obviously Kareem Hunt and, all the other, moving parts there. But I mean, when you get to this point in time of the draft, all these guys, they all got warts. But for me, they all do, right? Like they all got warts. But he's 26 years old. So he's still a little bit younger. And I'm okay with taking my fair share of Isaiah Pacheco this year in any drafts if I get the opportunity to with that second or third waiver running backs.
Okay. I really don't mind Pacheco at all because, like you said, he's going in a range where I already got my RB1 per se within the first 4 or 5 rounds. If you tell me Pacheco's going 6th round as a flex play right now, then yeah, I want to buy into that after, especially – if I do a build where I already have 3 receivers and 2 running backs, he's my second running back in the late 5th round or even early 6th round, whatever, totally worth the gamble. Like you said, I think Kansas City's offense is an offense we still want to target, but I do think, like you talked about, John, you want to target it in a perspective. I don't want to be doing all the guesswork. I know Pacheco's going to be getting a majority of these touches, I'm saying? Kareem Hunt's going to mix in stuff like that, whatever, but it shouldn't be such like a 50-50 split like it was last year. It should be back to where Pacheco gets more of the lion's share of the carries and should still be able to do work with the usage that he gets. So where he's going is a fair place to go for sure. Let's see. Yo, what up, Paul? Yo. We get it there. Mighty Botch came in. 2 words. Devon Chan, yo, my guy. About dang time, yo. What's up, yo? That's my guy for real now. Devon Chan for real. I did not talk about him tonight. I'm sure I'll be talking about him in another video, of course. The guy I want to talk about for my buy is someone I don't necessarily always look to target. I just think where he's going right now is kind of criminal. I'm talking about Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is going like middle fourth round. I've seen him go mid fifth round sometimes. I know why. Is the reason is because I do think people's perception of Alvin Kamara is that he's another year older. He doesn't score touchdowns like that. He's only scored like a few touchdowns, here and there, sprinkle touchdowns here and there. But Alvin Kamara is still phenomenal for PPR purposes. They say PPR scheme, type of guy. But I do think Alvin Kamara getting that extension in October showed me that the Saints were looking to definitely utilize him to his fullest capacity. And even though their situation doesn't look great from a quarterback perspective and an offense perspective, these are still the times where you want to buy a guy like Kamara, especially if I got to buy him only as my RB2 for volume purposes. Kamara is going to be that guy. I'm not expecting him to score me a bunch of touchdowns, whatever have you, but he is one of those guys that he could be relied upon. Alvin Kamara, he's been a top 2 RB the last 2 seasons, RB targets. He is a top 5 running back for points per game over the last 2 seasons, despite him only having, like, last year, 950 yards rushing. The year before that, 694 yards rushing, and was still a nice asset. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to overthink it. I do want Kamara on a good amount of my rosters because of the volume that he'll get and because the lack of so-called playmakers. You still have a Olave, you still have a Shaheed, but Tyler Schloff like starting potentially. But again, Alvin Kamara is still going to be the guy that we're going to want to get the ball to consistently as the season rolls along. But yeah, so we got the fifth spot started. And we got to start this draft, baby. The moment that everybody's been waiting for. All right. Guys aren't following us on social, please do so. Guys ain't subscribing to the show. What are y'all doing? Help us out.
Right.
Help us out. Posting this type of stuff for y'all each and every week. We're going to start the draft, and then we're going to get into ourselves while we're talking about that. So, John, you know what the drill is. You're up.
All right.
Yeah, he ain't playing tonight.
No.
He ain't playing.
No, we're ready. I'm ready.
Oh boy, that's funny. He ain't playing around. Last time he got a little cute with the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But then
I just had to give it a feel just to see what it looked like. Just to do that. And so I don't know. That's not the move for me. Like, it's not the move. No, it's not. It's not. I hated my team the last time we did this, and I was like, I said, there's only one other player that I would even consider taking at the one spot other than Bijan.
Makes sense. John, let's talk about your sell candidate, guy that you're not aggressively targeting, but a guy you think might be just talked about a little too much right now.
I wouldn't say that he's talked about too much. I just think for me right now, he's just a guy that I'm not keen on going after him, which sucks, man, because he's actually I've been on record before saying that he had been one of my favorite non-Steeler football players. And that's Alvin Kamara. I mean, not Alvin Kamara, but Deebo Samuel. That I've been on record of saying this about Deebo. I've loved everything about him, and I just asked myself, really, what is changing in his situation? He's leaving one dynamic play caller to go to another situation with another play caller in Cliff Kingsbury, who is also a dynamic play caller. I think the only difference is that obviously at the quarterback position, what Washington has with Jaden Daniels and what they can do and how creative they could get could potentially. Yes, it is because he showed up looking like Eddie Lacy Swanson. Facts. But I just don't know offensively if we all are falling for fool's gold. And what I mean by that is, you're coming. It's a situation where last year where Jaden Daniels, like, and please do not take this out of context, world, but like Jaden Daniels had an incredible year. He had an incredible year. I think we all know that. Like, is that going to be the continued theme? And if it is, then yeah, there is a world where Deebo Samuel can get production and can be a productive piece. But also too, is it a situation where maybe Jane Daniels takes a step back, maybe Cliff Kingsbury takes a step back as a play caller, maybe the Washington defense is a little bit better than it was last year, because coming down the stretch last year, the Commanders, they started to play some really good football on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's another element of fantasy football that doesn't always get highlighted, is what the defense is doing and what they're not doing on the other end. And there was an opportunity where I will take the moment to say even my Pittsburgh Steelers put up points and actually beat them in DC. So I'm gonna pump the brakes on Deebo and what happened last year with him. He's also, man, he's gonna be 30. He's 29. He'll be 30 when the season ends. So I just find it really difficult to buy into a 30-year-old wide receiver who has a limited route tree. Looks like he's gained some weight. He's gonna miss some games. Like, I just have a hard time with it. So I think, like, if I'm rostering him, or if I have him on any of my rosters right now, I'm gonna try to move off of him.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I like it's one of those players, like, you love him as a real life player. But
I love
for fantasy purposes, it's like fantasy purposes sometimes just really doesn't shake how you want it to shake. And they left my guy there. That's crazy. Wow. I was surprised able to get him on the back end.
I love how he's your guy now. But go ahead.
That's our guy. Sorry.
Okay.
It's our guy. But that being said, I hear what you're saying about Deebo. It's just, yeah. Will Cliff Kingsbury be able to utilize him like Shanahan has done in the past? Will just remain to be seen. And that's kind of like what's going to hinder, I think, not hinder, but I think what's going to dictate how Deebo is going to go, I guess, in Washington. Like, he's fine enough for a guy that I'll take if, again, it's like I'll take a little bit of a gamble on if I'm kind of chasing receiver in my drafts. He's like probably a guy that I'd love to take as a wide receiver 3. But overall, it's like, it's a nicer, smaller risk still, because even if you miss with Deebo, it's not like such a hindrance, I guess. So I understand why you're avoiding him, but he's someone I would still kind of definitely question on still taking if the price is right and the right situation.
Yeah.
One guy I got for a sell is, he's not like a complete fade for me, Tyreek Hill, but he's someone I do not want to have when I just don't want to have a guy like Tyreek and me holding the bag if it doesn't work out to how I see fit. Like, Tyreek Hill is still going at a decent spot in drafts. Just the problem I have is that he's just a guy that I don't really, again, he relies on that speed, and he still has it. Don't get me wrong. It's just more about, again, once that speed starts to go down just a few ticks, it's like his route tree really depends on that speed, really depends on all of that. Unless he gets utilized more as like more of that slot transition, I just don't want to be holding back. I know Tyreek Hill is a phenomenal dynamic receiver. You know that. He's still going at a spot where it's still somewhat worth a gamble. But again, Tyreek Hill is not someone I would want to be relying on my wide receiver 1, consistently. That happened to me last year, actually, in the Cookout League. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine the league I almost took down. But I think with Tyreek Hill, he's someone that, I think once he's already got the problems going on, he's going to be 31. Like, there's a lot of things going against Tyreek Hill right now. And I just don't want to, risk taking him knowing that there's other guys like on the board that I would be more enamored with taking versus like, and then I wouldn't want to miss out on versus like, now it's like, man, I took Tyreek versus like, I could have taken this guy, I could have taken that guy who's a lot younger, But yeah, I mean, that's where my stance is on Tyreek Hill overall.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you. He's right now. He's in an interesting place. Like it's like looking here again from Fantasy Pros. You got JSN, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, T Higgins, Rasheed Rice, Mike Evans. So he's in a really really unique situation here, but looks like there's a couple times he's even dropped to the 4th round. But he's also winning 202, which that's definitely way too rich for my blood for sure.
Very. That was a tough selection.
Yeah.
That was tough. Yeah. So far, almost midway through the 3rd round. Tough because, first of all, I expect neither one of those guys to follow me. At 3-4. Between London and A.J. Brown. I went London slightly. I love A.J. Brown. I just went London slightly only because, with London and Atlanta, I just think that hopefully, it all comes together. What the heck? What the heck just happened?
Like your Wi-Fi's.
Hell no. We'll still be live. We weren't. If it was the Wi-Fi, I'd be buzzing out, whatever. Oh, what the hell is that? But
Sleeper does some weird stuff sometimes. Like if you if you miss a pick, or you like close out on your phone, like it's as the kids would say, it's crash out time. So
there you go.
Let's see here. Now we're getting to a place where it's not friendly for me.
No, it's not, but there's some value there still for you.
Yeah,
this is a smart draft so far. I like it. I definitely like it. Buying even the auto three straight receivers.
Yeah. Of course they're gonna do that.
Of course they're gonna do that. Yeah. I like what Mighty did. HN, McBride, and then Taylor. I like that. I like that for sure. Holland, Henry and Hall and Allen, that's solid too. Be interested to see what actually Bayer does right now because Barkley and Kyron, that's solid.
Yeah.
Chase fell to 1-6, which is a little weird. I can understand why. Although with Derek, I don't know. I mean, I would have taken Chase over Jefferson that 1-2, but with Jefferson, because McCarthy, I have no idea how he's going to look, obviously. But obviously, it's a KOC offense, so it's not something I'm like, I'm not like totally like ripping someone about. But at the 1-2,
I mean, I think I know what he's. I think I know what he's doing.
Oh, Travis Hunter went 310. Oh shit!
Here we go.
Here we go. The earliest he's gone in all of our mocks so far.
It is. All right. I guess
you taking Tyreek here?
No. No.
Nice. Little Camara there. I like it.
Yeah, he's been somebody for me like at one. Like if I go like robust running back, he's somebody that like I'm like, okay, if I get him as my 3rd or 4th running back, then I'm absolutely cool with it. I don't love the situation, man. I really honestly don't. I think it's just one of those
4-3.
Yeah. Jimmy Connor. There we go. I like that. I like that. I don't know, man. You're not gonna get 17 out of Kamara for sure. Like that's not happening. But maybe again with this offense here, we keep saying he's the only guy, but like really.
No, he's not the only guy.
He's not the only guy. Like, there's
Olave, Shaheed's still there. Like, there's a decent core of weapons. Yeah, it's just more about like, can they all come together on a game by game basis with their quarterback right now? So that's also where you go.
Yeah, I don't mind him. Like, he's not somebody that I'm reaching for. I don't mind him. If he's there, and the value's there, then I'll take it. I think it's a really good toss up between him and Connor. I think you're looking at two running backs who are 30 years old or will be 30 years old, two running backs. They give you production, but they also miss games as well. And then I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk about James Cook, who the computer took.
Seriously? What the heck is going on here, yo? Y'all are wilding right now.
What do you think about this James Cook situation?
Wilding right now. What the heck is going on? Wow.
Nothing, man. This is just a bunch of 30-year-old players going in this round that aren't Garrett Wilson and James Cook. There's nobody wilding. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of 30-year-old players. That's it. That's where we're at, man.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, what do you think about the James Cook situation?
Man, I just think it's a tad too early to still speculate. I guess in the next month, if things really aren't what they are looking to be, then man, we're going to start getting Ray Davis on the cheap, because for his price way the heck up for best ball. And if you're in, obviously if you're home leagues, like obviously you'll be a guy you don't want to rush for, but at the same time he looked pretty good last year. So Ray Davis was a guy we wanted last year. He was in that cluster of running backs that were like, man, is he gonna shine? Is he not gonna shine? Like, I don't know. Like he did his thing. It was just more like, man, like I wish we had like, more,
Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr., man. A lot of buzz about him this offseason. Just about actually how he's looking. You think he takes that next step and to get into the bottom tier number one wide receivers or better?
I'm sorry, who? Marvin Harrison?
Yeah.
There's a shot. There's a chance because it's always be one of those post breakouts, post hype breakouts, whatever you want to call it, type of deals, right? Because it's just one of those scenarios where you're like, all right, like we think it's gonna happen and it doesn't.
Ooh, look at you, man. Your team starting to look like team Johnny Mango over there, baby.
No.
Yeah, a little DJ Moore.
I couldn't pass him up, though. Couldn't pass him up there. Couldn't pass him up. I didn't want to be reaching for nothing either, so I couldn't pass that up.
That's fair.
There's guys that I wanted to back end that I'm like, no, I can wait. Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see.
I really think DJ Moore in Chicago, it's like, I guess the more and more I think about Chicago, it's like there's pieces that you'll like. But it all hinges on Caleb Williams.
Yeah, of course.
All hinges on Caleb Williams. Like, the guy that was looking like Ray Charles in the backfield sometimes.
Oh, stop, man. Ridiculous.
He was sacked the most, I think in a season in NFL history. I think something like that.
Yeah. Well, shit happens, man. Shit happens.
It sure does.
Shit happens. Oh man, let's see.
I know, right? There's your boy on the board. You gonna take him?
No, I'm gonna. This next pick will determine a lot for me here. Okay. Yeah, I see what you did, Swanson. All right, so let's see what you did. Let's see what you did. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we just play it like that, man. Like I feel like there's something to be said about being at 1-1 or being at 12. Like those back end picks. Yeah, man.
You set it off, baby. You set it off.
Yeah, I feel like that can be a thing, man. Caleb Johnson was really where I was looking at because I was like, man, I know he ain't gonna get back around the board. In each mock draft we do, it's like this is where
he always gets taken.
It's in the 6th round, and I know when we do it live, somebody's probably gonna pop him up to the 5th. Yeah, somebody's probably gonna pop him up to 5th. But now here's the trend. Now, like we start for this round here, like. Outside of Pacheco, who was 26, you got a lot of youth here popping off here in the 6th round. You got your guy JMO.
I know. I was gonna take him next pick. Oh well.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, man, like there's definitely some themes here. But like I was saying, man, I think like if you can hit a stack, and I know some people like aren't, we said youth and somebody popped off with the OG.
Ah,
Aaron
I
Jones,
know.
who I guess was according to the stats, man, was one of like the top performers based off the scored system from last year. But
We'll get a little unconventional here.
you're not getting unconventional. You're not. You
Based
just
on my standards, I am.
yeah.
Based on my
I don't
standards,
know.
really.
I don't know.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it there. I think based on all the running backs that went, I really think if Ben Johnson could really make Swift a guy, we could be talking about a big steal.
I don't even think it's if he can make him a guy. I think he is a thing, man. Oh no, don't tell me again.
You did it again, didn't you?
Oh God, Jesus. I don't know why. I don't know why it does this. Okay, we're back. I'm like,
oh my gosh. No, don't tell me he went in now. Oh, go Lord.
Okay.
Oh, your guy Pickens finally went.
Yeah. Which, man, like George Pickens he's gonna have a solid year, man. I'm not gonna say he's gonna have a great year, but he's gonna have a solid year, man. Like there's the only thing stopping George Pickens is George Pickens. That's it. That's literally it. Anything outside of that, yeah, that's the only thing that's stopping George Pickens.
I like Mighty's strategy. I like it. Ain't half bad.
Who's?
12 spot Mighty is not bad at all. I like
like I said, man, there's something to be said. Like those are all guys, right? Like if you're at a 1 or a 12, those are all guys. I'm not a big Tony Pollard guy, but like Fields was definitely somebody that was in consideration for me. JT, I think he always has to be in consideration for a league like this right here.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, and that was I was like, all right, like I haven't had neighbors to see like what it looks like. I don't hate this team, but I really am starting to feel more like, when the money's on the table, it feels like running backs that are gonna get the bulk of the work is where it's at. So McConkey and Malik Neighbors.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Running back volume is decent. I guess where strategies can differ is that because I really don't mind my 4 receivers, really. We're all talking about receivers that are alpha wide receiver ones that have passed, wide receiver 1 status. Talk about DJ Moore as a very, very in between. You know what I'm saying? He's a tweener between like the 12 and 15 receiver spots sometimes. It's like we're talking about these guys, and you're like, I really think that could really bring a core. It won't be such a differentiate, like type of roster by roster, but it's like also where it's like people start out with those 4 receivers like that, combined with a few running backs that you could get later. Like that's also like equals everything out. But remains to be seen, though, right?
Yeah,
yeah. I get it. You want to have running backs, but sometimes you gotta just, you don't want to be just chasing running back constantly either.
But if I'm going after running backs, like I mean, there's still right now. There's running backs out there. Right? But if I'm loading up, then I would want my roster, to look something like Bijan, JT, Kamara. Chuba, it seems like Chuba's starting to kind of move up the boards now. I would want my team to look something.
Our guy Chuba Huppa.
I would want my
man. No one was talking about Chuba Hubbard last year, so I don't want to hear nothing like, "Oh, everybody's on him this year now." It's, "Oh yeah, you're on him this year, huh?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think he's one that will continue to get steamed up. Will continue to get steamed up boards for sure. So
not too much. Jeez, like he's already at a point where I'm like, let somebody else have it.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Yeah. All right, if this will go ahead and go through for me here, there we go.
Nice.
Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, you might as well.
No. not what you think, but
Okay. I
yeah.
like the Roma Doomsday pick too. It's because Chicago, again, it's like that offense where you're like, you're just hoping that because I'll be honest, Chicago's team, like as a personnel last year, when it comes to the coaches, they had no idea what the hell they were doing either. So, it's like it was just, we knew it was going to be a mess to begin with, but it became worse as the season came along.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you thought like it was going to be a mess. I think people just felt like, all right, there's so much talent here on the offensive side of the ball that like it's just going to work. And like that's like you can't do that in any sport. Like you can't just throw out all of this talent and have it go. There's my guy Juwan Jennings right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Debo. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I think obviously like to get somebody in there that has an understanding of how to run an offense, has turned an offense around, has worked with somebody in probably most people's opinion of lesser talent than Caleb Williams. I think like it's there. Like he's just a stallion that needs to be tamed, and Ben Johnson, I feel like is gonna be that. He's gonna be that guy that does that, man. So I'm really looking forward to it. And like the Bears offense as a whole, that's definitely a placement. I'm gonna try to make sure I have some pieces of that offense. Who you wowing?
Wow.
Who you wowing? ATN or Andrews?
Neither, actually.
No.
Wow.
Okay.
Shocking. A bit shocking, actually, in my opinion.
Well, what is shocking?
Godwin left there that late? Wow. Reason why I say that is because, like, Godwin still is going to be a guy in this offense in Tampa Bay that I got him and Evans on the same team. I don't really care. But I still think Baker can consistently do what he's been doing.
Come on.
Like, come on. The sleeper, y'all be doing the most. But with Godwin, I think he's someone that I think is going to be a guy that's going to get raised up a little bit more as the summer goes along, because he's proven he's a pedigree guy that's proven it time and time again. And even before he got injured, he was looking really well. So I do think and his what is it? His ACL was clean the last time I checked.
Yeah, I don't think it was his ACL. I'm pretty sure it was his ankle.
It was right. Dislocated his ankle.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. But I don't know. I would love to have Godwin and all.
Josh down. Let's go.
I don't mind that pick there.
Let's go.
It's his first receiver off the board.
Let's go.
I love it. His first receiver off the board.
Yeah. Let me see here. I bet I know.
I was going to take Herbert with that next pick. Nice. What?
Okay.
I'll take Purdy.
All right.
Okay. Niners get the easiest schedule. This year.
Well, you're talking about schedule. I think one thing too that's really interesting is
what?
Just talking about the Bengals, and you're talking about Chase a little bit earlier on. They play. I can't remember what the stat was I was saying, but I've seen Cincinnati's schedule and some of the cornerbacks. And granted, Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. He's gonna get his regardless. But again, man, it's very difficult, for somebody to be the number one player overall and to come back right back again the same year and do, and do it again. So I think it's gonna be an interesting situation. I still like Chase. I'm not shitting on him by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But it's going to be a very, very interesting situation for oh, look at this. They're all starting to fly now. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then I mean, I guess we're at this place.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick there.
Yeah, again, I'm not an Aaron Jones hater, but I just golly, dude. That guy, man, he's something else, man. He's something else. I'm not a hater, man. And plus, man, Jordan Mason, man, he's pretty sure, man, from Antioch, Tennessee, man. So, I did think about picking Caleb Williams, but I was like, damn, then I would have to pick quarterbacks, and that would just be kind of stupid right now.
Yeah.
But again, I think that just goes to show you that, too, especially in this format, you can wait on QB big time. You can wait on it. I haven't had a chance to grab Mahomes. So like I said, I think, these mocks, man, they never go anything
anything goes, yo. Literally,
it's goes. Never, So
it's never cut and dry.
So far, man, who's your favorite team? Not named Platinum yet.
Give me a moment. Let me see. Guess whose roster I guess I like best would probably be. Oh no, it's a little tough.
Yeah, no, this one's
every roster I'm looking at right now.
You can tell people have people been putting the work in, because these rosters they're starting to look a little bit tighter than they were about 2 weeks ago.
Oh well, yeah, totally.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, they were starting to look lopsided. They were looking lopsided.
They were definitely looking lopsided, though. I don't know. There's certain teams I like here, but they're not teams I'm like. So yeah, you hit a home run, you said it. I think it's a little bit more tighter right now.
I like one roster I do like Hey Dude Paul. I like the fact I you know how I feel about Genty. I'm not a big Genty guy as an RB1.
Sure.
But I think when you run it back with Lamar, and then you got JSN who's gonna see all the targets. I shouldn't say all of them, but he's gonna see a lot of targets. You got Garrett Wilson, who's the only show in town. You got Cortland Sutton, who he's not the only show in town, but he is the show. If Jonnu Smith runs it back, obviously know what you got. Calvin Ridley, man, everybody knows how I feel about him. Travis Etienne, I felt I picked him last year, man, in your home league, and I think that kind of took you by surprise. But I still,
a little bit,
I still believe in Travis Etienne. I still think he's a talent. I think he's just coming off of this will be 2 years removed now from putting up an RB1 finish. So I'm still
Kyle Pitts.
Oh, there we go. Wow, everything. Let's see here. So yeah, so
you can't get your guy fired move.
No.
Can't get your guy fired move.
No.
I don't mind Paul's roster. I think that it's heavy. His roster is heavily relied on Genty, and I'm not too sure. And based on how Travis Etienne goes, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if I'm going to,
you can put this sleeper hex over here on me now.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Wow, tight ends went off the board.
Yeah, they did.
Oh Lord, save me one, will you? I got another plan.
Yeah, it looks like
interesting.
Ain't gonna let me back in, so
they can let you back in.
No, no.
There you are.
Yeah,
I've seen the green light on you.
Yeah, no, mobile now.
I'm mobile now.
Which is like typically like how like I do all of my sleeper drafts. That's why like the first night, whenever I did this on here,
How
I'm
did
like,
Jordan get there at one? Wow.
yeah, like again, guys that are gonna be hanging out there that got no business hanging out there, man.
That's crazy, yo. That's wild.
Yep. And you were you were talking about Godwin, man. But what about Mecca? Are you like a lot?
Am I nervous about him?
Yeah, like if you had Chris Godwin in an actual real world draft.
No, because I have Evans. No, but now in a real life draft, like would I be concerned? I don't know. There's good talk from him from camp. I just think there's a world where they could both exist.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's also McMillan out there too, obviously. So there's a lot going out there. I ain't gonna lie, but I do still feel solid about getting Godwin because of his consistency, before. So I wouldn't be like I'd be a little nervous, but I think just where I got him in a draft, I just think that's after all the depth I got, makes sense to grab him. That's why I got excited. Because of all the depth I got, and then I got him after, makes a ton of sense. Your guy Ray Davis, yeah, I like that.
Yo, did you see that video of Keon Coleman playing basketball?
Nah.
Man, listen.
He a hooper?
Dog.
He a hooper,
Listen.
he a dog.
Dog. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I retweeted it or not. I don't know if I retweeted it or I liked it. If I liked it, I'm gonna retweet it because that dude, I seen it, I was like, yo, what? What? He's like that. He is like that, sir.
Some people are tall for no reason, but that's not him.
No, okay, yeah. I just liked it. I didn't retweet it here. I'm about to retweet it. But yeah, 60 points in a celebrity game. Granted, it's a celebrity game.
Wow.
Granted. But like when you see how he was, yes, Cameron, you right about people sleeping on Jordan Love. That was my guy last year. I don't mind going back to him either. I don't mind going back to him. But yeah, Keon Coleman was cooking. So who else? Yeah, like I said, I like Homeboy's team too. Mighty Booch. Who's it? Bouch?
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's the one receiver thing's killing me.
Nah.
Get it. You know what I'm saying? But I guess the only hang up is like I think he killed the first 7 rounds, but it's like Downs, Williams, like
Well, Williams, you don't know. Like you don't know. Williams, you don't know. It's you don't know. And then Tucker Kraft is one of my favorite later tight ends, man. He's one of my favorite tight ends in general. Obviously, Patty, everybody knows what it is. And I think that's something too, man. That's underrated, man. It's like Aaron Rodgers and what he's did with tight ends just in the past. So I don't hate that team, man. I might give you the green light for the night, man.
Wait, what? You don't like what? You said what?
Who, me?
You said give me the green light. Who's got green light?
Mighty Vouch.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give him the green light. I like his team. I like the way it ended up coming together for him. And even you were talking about, after that, like Downs, like if you believe in it like that, then hey man, do your thing. And Javonte, I was a fan of his, and I still will continue to go on record saying I wish the Pittsburgh Steelers would have drafted him versus Najee Harris a couple rounds later. But what do I know? I'm just a C+ student out here in the middle of Central Maine, out here trying to do a podcast. You know what I mean? And then Freiermuth and Tucker Kraft. Like I said, Tucker Kraft is one of my favorite tight ends. Period. This year going into fantasy drafts, and Pat Freiermuth. What Aaron Rodgers has done historically with tight ends, and then again Art Smith and his offense. How it features the tight end. I think Pat Freiermuth's value is how can I say this? I don't want to say his value is at an all-time high, but I think for where you're getting him at, I think there's definitely a higher ceiling that can pay off his draft capital for sure.
I'm still looking at who I like as my favorite. I'm just really picky right now. I really don't mind yours.
Yeah.
I really don't mind yours. Let's say yours.
Yeah.
It's not exactly bias. It's more like just.
Yeah, just.
It's that I think it's between your roster and I do like, Obi-Wan's roster, like Obi-Wan's roster, like
Obi-Wan. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah. But I do like his roster too, you know what I'm saying? Because of the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Jacobs, you know what I'm saying? You get Hurts, you get Mixon, you get Marvin Harrison, who probably realistically, if he just did slightly a bit better, he'd probably go ahead of some guys in that range.
Yeah.
Addison, who could be a guy that comes out of nowhere and does things again.
Yes.
Like it's totally possible. So I do like the running backs, do like the receivers there, like the elite quarterback there, obviously. So I mean that's a decent roster. Your roster is fun because it's neighbors, it's lad. You know what I'm saying? If Worthy brings that roster together, like along with Rome Dunze, like that's a home run. If Mahomes does anything better than he did last year.
Oh my God, bro. And he's dude, like, and you know what, man? I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm a sucker too, dude. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, like, with all the drafts that I'm gonna do, there's absolutely going to be a league where I jump up and where I jump up and take Patrick Mahomes. Like, there's always gonna be one because I believe in him. Like I still believe in him, and I think it's just a space where, there was a point in time where Tom Brady was better in real life than he was in fantasy, and then the next thing you know, Tom Brady's out here throwing 50 touchdowns to Randy Moss. So I ain't saying that the Kansas City Chiefs got Randy Moss on their roster or that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw 50 touchdowns, but I'm saying like. Patrick Mahomes don't just all of a sudden suck at football now from a fantasy perspective. Like he just don't suck all of a sudden, man.
Yeah. Paul was like, this was fun. Man, running backs went fast, so I end up super receiver heavy. Not that it matters. Yeah. Kind of. Who's Paul? Oh, so yeah, hey dude, Paul. I mean, like you were saying, like we like Ridley there at 7'6". Like
and Pearsall, like somebody from that Niners offense is gonna pop. And the other thing too, man, about the Niners, man, is like the Niners and the Eagles, they lost a little bit on defense, man. So I think it could be situations where those offenses might be asked to do a little bit more than they have historically. So just kind of keeping that in the back of your mind.
I think probably the Eagles. I think that it can't go how it went last year. Not to say it can't, but that much success running the football last year, that was a beauty to watch. It was wild, yo. Just the way they just officially ran the ball that much. I'm not going to say it can't happen like that again, but it's like the Eagles were dead last at pass attempts.
Yeah, yeah.
So
the narrative
only goes up for Hurts.
Like, the narrative is going to get flipped this year. Like the narrative is going to be.
Appreciate you joining us, Paul, for sure.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Come on back next week if you can get in, because.
Yeah, who's draft? Who got anyway? Like two, man. Like who's drafting? What is it? It's got to be happening soon next week.
Next couple of weeks. Yeah, who's drafting the next couple of weeks?
It's got to be.
Love to know that soon for sure.
Yeah,
because we don't draft for another month. Yeah. We heard a couple of people were drafted a couple of weeks. So like, damn, really?
I know, man. I know.
I guess the roster I'm just not in love with the most on here would probably be. I'm not gonna say I necessarily don't like the roster, but Bolander's roster like kind of just feels. I feel like he's missing something. It's like Rashee Rice at 210 was that was definitely a reach for me. Based on who was left on the board, that was definitely a reach. You like AJ Brown, London, Taylor, Hurts even.
No.
I understand Brock Bowers at the 3, but it's still not registered with me with Brock Bowers still. I know it's a super tight end, situation, all that, but still could be like, I don't know. I mean,
Paul is drafting on Sunday.
Drafted in the Cincy on Sunday.
Yeah, man. But I got
all reps he can.
Jameson. Uh-oh. Cats are getting crazy now. Yeah, they just started to roll up in here. Minka, you know how he do, creeping. No, that's what's up, man. On Sundays. Funny. Look, good luck, Paul, man. Like, definitely want to see those. See how that draft shakes out, man. Are you see where's you got to be? So, are you actually drafting in the 7th spot?
That's rough. Drafting in the 7th spot.
Oh my gosh, dude,
that's been rough.
I drafted 8 my first year, and I was like, oh my god, I wanted to vomit.
The 9th spot has been good to me. You know what I'm saying? So
I just said
the 9th spot's been great to me. I think it's a good year actually to draft on the back end too.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think it is. It's not bad. I mean, because in all actuality, in all reality, you probably
all reality.
Yeah, anything is reality. You probably worst case scenario, you could get cute and go. Not even cute, but all right, so you take the guy who led the league in rushing touchdowns. Okay, that's really kind of a bad spot to be in. Or you take a running back who's all-purpose everything for the Miami Dolphins. That's kind of shitty. It's not a bad place to be for sure. It's just that I don't know, man. I think being on the back end or even being in one of those first 2 or 3
in the middle it
comes to you. You don't have to you don't have to think about it. It's all right, here's the player. All right, this is what I'm taking.
Yep.
Here's the player, man. Here's the player. I mean, obviously you're sitting there at 1-9 and Jahmyr Gibbs is sitting there. All right, well, that's a tough call.
That's a very tough call.
That's a tough call. Then I do think in the second round there it can get a little bit dicey. I mean, because all those guys, they all are in the same space. Honestly, I thought you were probably going to be leaning more towards Puka than Nico, but
I'm giving Puka just a slight knock because of Adams. You would think that. What is it? So you would think he'd probably get a little bit more of a bump with Puka. I just don't know how much Adams is going to factor in just yet, into my whole process. So I'm not looking to jump. I'm not looking to jump on Puka immediately. Just because there's an injury risk, involved with him. There's always some nicks and bumps he always takes because he's always a physical receiver. With Tay being in town, it's another mouth to feed that could take away some usage. Because Cooper Kupp was as we know down the stretch with Cooper Kupp, we all know he was just a nightmare if you had him on some of your rosters like I did. Because he wasn't, in fact, he just wasn't getting the ball enough. It was all pretty much Puka Nacua. Now it's you get Tay Adams involved, and now usage could not be as high with Puka. Again, Neighbors I would definitely take over Puka. So I was a little surprised when Swanson took Puka. But it just is what it is. But I think, like you were saying, I like the 9 spot because it's not the middle and it's not the beginning. And there's so much talent you can take advantage of on the back end for the first 3 rounds because it's 3rd round reversal. So that's where you get your nice core, and then you're looking to hopefully get decent value that started that 4th round. Well, for instance, Mike Evans, 4th round, late 4th round. To me, that's a steal because that's definitely a floor play. Mike Evans, he's 1,000 yards receiving, 9 straight seasons now, right? You could pencil in for 8 to 9 touchdowns, potentially 10. So that's where it's again, then you get another decent floor guy, in my opinion, DJ Moore, potential with some ceiling at 5'4" there as well, because I do think that Chicago's offense should be a bit slightly improved. So with DJ Moore being my 4th receiver, I just like that too. So it like you said, all these things are all subjective.
Yeah, I mean, right now don't mean shit. We
you know what I'm saying?
we just sitting here just trying to call ourselves forecasting. So you know what I mean? Like it's now don't mean nothing till it gets live, man. You know.
I know, right? And then that's where it's like, oh, it's too late.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too late. Oh boy.
Yeah. So what else you got, man?
That's all I got, yo. It's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for coming in, giving comments. Like, if your first time here, like I said, please subscribe. Please like the show. Please share it with people. We're really trying to get out there more in space. We'll look to do another one of these next week for y'all, for those who haven't drafted. And, also, Paul, if you're still here, tell us about, your experience overall and how that went. Come back next week and tell us about your experience because we'd love to know.
For sure.
With that being said, John, you have anything more to add? Share with the people?
Trying to think. No, I don't really have anything else to add. I have anything else to add, man. No. I think I've ranted and raved a little, enough for the night. Yeah. All
right. Well, that being said, same time, same place next week. We're gonna see y'all in there. Until then, peace out.